You know, for example, there's a beautiful development there, 193 and 450 Fairview.
Yeah.
We actually recommended denial on that, not because we didn't think that Rouse Corporation, no related to the wealthy Mr. Rouse here,
Unfortunately, yeah.
but they deliver a beautiful product. It's a beautiful neighborhood. But when the county approved that, there was one space within the confines of that building or that property for the construction ultimately of an elementary school. No school buildings, just a piece of ground. Not a single square foot of additional yard or land use space, no new water, no new sewer, no new expansions on getting back on 50, no new police, no new nurses. Yeah. So those are the challenges we have. We, right. You know, if you remember, there was an article in a couple of the papers recently about Bowie State wants to exploit some of the land adjacent to there. There are some good ideas. Bowie State's a great institution. They want to expand the opportunity for more student housing and for some business and retail operations as well. Council believes that, you know, there's a lot in that has merit, but unlike some of our friends at other jurisdictions, we're also concerned about the impact that development will have on 197, for example.
Yeah, no kidding.
Or the impact that will have on the county's ability to deliver fire and emergency services. Yeah. I mean, you look now, the county is furloughing and laying off people.
They're closing fire stations.
And they're well, yeah, they got some challenges. So all we want to do is say, look, you know, there's nothing inherently wrong with development. I'm admittedly a pro-business guy. We've expanded the city's tax base dramatically. When I became mayor in '98, the city's tax base was $1 billion. Today, we're approaching $7 billion. That doesn't happen by mistake,
no,
but there's a lot of benefit that comes from that.
And if we did not have a mayoral, city council, city manager government, the county would be walking all over us.
Right. I'll give you a case in point. The meeting I left to come here was with one of our biggest employers, MedAssurant, the town center folks, and BG&E. And the problem we've had is, notwithstanding the credible efforts that BG&E is making to improve services, we have a serious reliability of service at MedAssurant and the town center and at the medical service.
And elsewhere. Yeah.
But those are areas uniquely. Yeah. And if MedAssurant loses power, the 500-600 employees in there that, I mean, they're just sitting. I mean, they can't work.
Well, I was at the town center recently. No power.
That's right. And if a restaurant loses 4 hours at lunchtime, they're a big doo-doo. Yeah,
that's right.
So by having the city here as an entity, we bring all those people together, we put them in a room together and say, okay, how can we do this?
Well, that's the point. You bring them together. And you're not just chairing the council. There's other duties you expected to do, and that's one of them.
Yes.
What better could be a real positive for economic development, for job development? And you're talking about MedAssurant. We've talked about them before. Like you say, 500 employees.
But see, the concern I have, MedAssurant's a quality business, quality management, quality product. They moved here from Annapolis, and they took the 160,000 square foot office building, beautiful building. What I'm concerned about is if they don't have reliable power sources, they're going to go to Anne Arundel, they're going to go to Howard, because their product moves with them.
Well, what is BGE saying about this?
We're working on it. And I mean, to their credit, they've invested millions of dollars in trying to rebuild an outdated system.
Not tearing down trees and desecrating neighborhoods.
That's part of the issue, obviously. The biggest challenge for them is to increase the capacity and the quality of the power service. For example, one of the things that came up today when the Bowie Health Center came on board years ago, came on board as a single function. Well, since that time, they've added all the other expansions there and surgical procedures and other kind of diagnostic procedures. They still have the same power, what do you call it, grid there.
Let's see, it's a perennial issue.
Yeah.
We have about 4 minutes or so left, 3 minutes or so left. What I'd like you to do is sort of give a little bullet presentation. Why people have to get out and vote.
Well, they have to let people know where the priorities are. If you're satisfied with the representative you have, then get out and vote for him or her. And these people need to know that. If you have a question, make sure that candidate knows it. If the candidate comes to your door, to me that's an expression of their interest in your point of view and your perspective. Yeah. If you have somebody that doesn't come to your door, that's a different.
Well, I've had one so far.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to come down.
Nameless.
I'm going to come down about midnight, I think, at your door.
And you think that's still really you know, we've always talked about the pride of Bowie is the people that can just go out and knock
Yeah,
doors.
it's retail
Knocking doors
politics.
still.
Bowie is a very sophisticated city, and the people that live here are very knowledgeable about the process. They know what to expect. They have high expectations, and they demand that you meet those expectations.
Yeah.
People here are not shy about letting you know that we're not happy with BG&E.
Right.
We're not happy with the school system. We agree with you. We need the police department to get it done. Those are the kinds of things that you find when you talk to the people here, and you know, when you look at some of the things we've done, I talk about the senior center. That came about because we put a bunch of seniors in a room and said, if money's not an object, engineering's not an object, what do you want a senior center to be? They came up with great ideas.
Yeah.
And so all I and others had to do was take those ideas to an architect and said, can you build this and what would it cost? So the people that are going to use it came up with those ideas. That is now the most used facility in the city.
It's a great facility.
It is. And we have people from all over the state come in here and look at it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I even go
I'm
there.
gonna make a, well, congratulations, John.
Yeah.
He invited me one day, and I told him I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
But you know, Fred, one thing about it, we're here in September, and you know, we're talking about the elections around
In
the corner.
November.
In November.
And the filing deadline is 1st of October.
October 2nd.
Next month.
So people
So-
that's interested in making Bowie what it is even better, get out and vote. But the one thing I might mention is this term limitation, or we're not talking about term limitation now, but the 2 year
Term of
4
office
years.
is 2 years.
Yeah.
2 years now.
Yeah.
And Bowie has that opportunity to make decisions every 2 years.
Every
so
2
let's
years.
look upon it as an opportunity. If things are going fine,
Well, see, I'm
You vote that way?
a firm believer that in every challenge there is an opportunity.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a great one. And another one is the decision to move forward on the City Hall project.
Absolutely,
People were telling me, oh, gee, you're terrible. It's a bad idea in this economy. This is the best time to move forward. You know, the
Absolutely.
cost of that construction is now down $7 or $8 million than what we expected it would be. To borrow money now, we're paying 3.5% instead of 5.5%.
that was a great
Well, the
move
city
there.
actually is one of the few entities that benefited from this economic downturn.
You know,
Exactly.
I don't want to take advantage of people, but there are times when you pull the trigger.
Yeah.
And I think it was a good example, and there's a strong majority on the council that wanted to go that way and move forward, and I think when people see that building and know it's going to be there for the rest of this century, they're going to be happy with it.
Which is
Well,
more than we can say for ourselves.
Absolutely. I think that was
You'll
a good
be here
job.
the rest of the
And
century.
your rating, you know, the bond rating and all that.
Yeah,
is really
AAA
tremendous.
bond.
Finally, one final point, John, before we wrap, and that is, where do people that are viewing now go to find out what district they're in?
Well,
the
they-
newspapers are not doing a real good job of reporting this election, and there should be something.
Well, they can
If I
call
moved
the
into
city
K
clerk's
section-
office, 301-809-3030. That'll give you in the city manager's office.
Okay.
City clerk is the liaison between the city and the Board of Election Supervisors. There's a group of people that citizens in the city that monitor
Register to
and
vote there.
conduct the election.
Well, on that note, Fred, we have to end. Thomas getting rather forceful with his rap.
Is
So-
he going to tell you that you're still on the fringe?
I'm on the fringe. We thank the viewers for watching. I can't emphasize, neither can Bert or Fred, how important it is for
Yes.
you to get involved in this election. We'll see you next week. Thank you very much.